A couple of years ago, I made a video discussing potential reasons why Sega hasn't ported Sonic Unleashed to PC or remastered the game in any capacity yet. Well, a lot has happened since then. Unleashed Recompiled, a fan recompilation of Sonic Unleashed, was shadow dropped a couple of weeks ago, proving to the entire world that a Sonic Unleashed PC port was definitely possible. And it was only done over 6 months, which is insane to think about because we have been waiting so long for Sega to port the game. And for the longest time, a lot of us felt like they just couldn't for a few potential reasons. Some of the common ones were they didn't own the rights to the music, or they lost the source code. I talked about these reasons in my original video, and looking back on it, I see that those reasons were pretty stupid. Because for one, it's like, how do you lose the source code? That's just such an outlandish rumor. And for two, we now know that a PC port was possible the entire time without even having the source code on hand. So with all of this new information, I want to answer the question, will Sonic Unleashed ever get an official next-gen port/remaster? So we've gotten a few remasters of Sonic games in recent years. Sonic Colors, Generations, and the classic games have all received recent releases on modern consoles and PC. Now, what do these games share in common? Well, they were all pretty successful and well received at launch. Sonic Colors was considered Sonic's true return to form, as the gameplay was fun and simple, and it didn't have some crazy gimmick to set it apart from previous games. Sonic Generations was a celebration of Sonic's history, and both playstyles it offers are still really enjoyable. And then we have the classic Sonic games, and I don't think I need to explain the significance of these. Come on, it's fucking classic Sonic. Of course they're going to port these games every 5 years without even thinking about re-releasing the adventure games. Seriously, Sega. Where are they? Okay, then we have Sonic Unleashed, and it wasn't that well received at launch. People enjoyed the daytime stages as those felt like a true evolution of Sonic's gameplay, but the Werehog is what caused people to not like the game. I mean, say what you will about the Werehog, I think it's just okay, but back in 2008, after the disastrous release of Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Secret Rings, this was their attempt at reviving the Sonic series, and it just didn't work. And to be honest, looking back on it, all I could ask is, what were they thinking? After something as bad as Sonic 06, I feel like the best thing to do would be to pull a Sonic Colors and make everything more simple. But no, we have a completely new gimmick that removes the core appeal and gameplay of Sonic and makes it take up most of the game while the actual good stuff is overshadowed. So what we have now is a game that is considered to be mostly a God of War clone rather than an actual good Sonic game. Could that be a potential reason why Sega hasn't ported or remastered the game yet? Sure, Sonic Unleashed has gathered a huge cult following in the Sonic fanbase, but do general audiences see the game the same way we do? That brings in Unleashed Recompiled. When this thing dropped, it was without a doubt a monumental moment within the Sonic community. We finally have a way to experience Sonic Unleashed on PC without going through the headache of emulation. A lot of Sonic fans were able to play Unleashed for the first time, and many people who originally disliked Unleashed were able to play it without any performance issues, which did improve the experience a lot for some people. But that's not just limited to the Sonic fanbase. I am honestly shocked by how many big non-Sonic content creators and other people in the industry have covered this project. Some Ordinary Gamers, Donkey, and even IGN has released an article on this, and then they proceeded to get cooked on Twitter. But the point is, people started coming around on this game. People were starting to see that Unleashed was a hidden gem in the Sonic series, all because of a fan-made PC port that reignited its relevance. So right now, interest in Sonic Unleashed is at an all-time high. That's great. But there's one issue when it comes to Sega releasing a remaster of Sonic Unleashed. We already have Unleashed Recompiled on PC. I mentioned this in one of my recent videos, but the release of Unleashed Recompiled is kind of bittersweet in a way. Yes, we finally have a PC port of Sonic Unleashed, but now, if Sega ever chooses to announce a remaster of the game, it won't be nearly as impactful because we already have the best way to play Unleashed. Of course, console players can't play Unleashed Recompiled, so the remaster would be great for them, but I feel like people wanted it on PC the most, if you get what I'm saying. And even if Sega were to remaster the game, would it even be good? I know that may be a silly question, but you gotta understand that all 3 of the recent Sonic remasters have issues of their own. Would Sega be able to make an Unleashed remaster that stacks up next to Unleashed Recompiled? Well, yes, actually, they can, because here's the thing. Unleashed Recompiled isn't a remaster, it's a port. It's the same game, but now it can be played at higher resolution and frame rate. Nothing was done beyond that. The textures are still low res, the lighting hasn't been altered, and it still looks the same as it always did in that department. And that's completely fine. But my point is, there are still improvements that could be made to Unleashed that could allow it to look even better. Yes, I know, there are already mods that do things like upscale the textures, and that's great, but I think it would be much cooler if we got a true remaster of the game that enhances literally everything. But will that even be enough? This is what I think Sega has to do if they truly want to sell a remaster of Sonic Unleashed. Do what Sonic X Shadow Generations did, and add a whole new game on top of it. See, Sonic X Shadow Generations was actually in a similar spot here. Generations already had a pretty good PC port, with a few issues here and there, but it was nothing substantial. So when remastering the game, Sega needed a way to sell the new version to PC users. And they did that by completely delisting the original Sonic generation. All jokes aside, yes, Shadow Generations was the main selling point for PC players. If they want to sell a new and improved version of Unleashed to PC players who already have Unleashed Recompiled, they gotta do something like Shadow Generations. I'm not saying it needs to be a whole expansion, but there needs to be something completely new that draws those people in. Extra levels, a new country to explore, or yes, maybe even a whole new game focused on a character like Amy or Knuckles or Silver, or well, maybe not Silver, the game would literally sell 0 copies. The point is, they need something like that. And then yes, current PC players would have some incentive to buy the game. So to answer the question, yes, I do think Sonic Unleashed will eventually get an official modern remaster with extra content. When? I have no idea. Probably not anytime soon. I know interest in Unleashed is at an all-time high right now, but I think Sega and Sonic Team are currently occupied with Sonic Racing Crossworlds. But hey, for now, just go play Unleashed Recompiled and mess around with all that project has to offer. It is still the definitive way to experience Unleashed, but let me know what you guys think about a potential Sonic Unleashed remaster in the comments down below. Do you think Sega will still want to remaster this game even after Unleashed Recompiled? But that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.